Yeah, good evening, everyone. And I welcome you to tonight's session. We'll continue on our fundamental of JavaScript, and tonight we'll be dealing with loops, conditionals, and mathematical operation in JavaScript. So, um, my name is Mbola Laidi. So, and for tonight, we'll look at arithmetic operations, that is the plus, addition, the subtraction, the multiplication, the exponential in JavaScript. We'll also talk about conditional statements and we can see how we can use them. So we have the if statement, the ternary operator, and the switch statement. And also we'll also talk about loops. So we'll talk about the for loop, the while loop, the do while loop, and the for off and the for in loops. Okay. So in JavaScript, right, you can perform basic arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division using numbers, right? But another point again is we can do addition of strings, so that is called concatenation. So we'll talk about that when we look into strings and arrays in our next class. So, but we could look at the addition. So similarly in your math, so if you can remember back then when you did mathematics, so, and the symbol is the same as what we do in JavaScript. So we have the plus symbol, which means addition, the minus symbol, which means subtraction, the star symbol or the asterisk, which means multiplication in JavaScript, and the division, which is the um um forward slash symbol, which means division. So and the percentage sign, which means modulo, and the double asterisk, which means exponential. And these operators is actually universal in across multiple languages like Java, C Sharp. Yeah, so you can use all these operators in these languages. So I will open my Visual Studio Code and I will show you how they can be used. So let's start with our addition. So the first instance is going to be let x equals to 1, let y equals to 2. So based on our last class, we said in order for us to define, in order for us to initialize a variable, we need to use the let keyword, the const keyword, or the var keyword. So we're using the let keyword. So this is the recommended way to declare our variable. And the x is the name of our variable. This equals to means we're assigning it a value of 1. Similarly, we have the let y equals to 2. So we are assigning to the variable of 2. And as you can see, our x is a number and our y is also a number. So we can do the addition. So I could say let x equals to, sorry, let z equals to x plus I. Okay, so this is addition, then I can print the z. So I declare a variable called z and I'm assigning the value of z to the sum of x and y. So if I click on run, I didn't say it other time. So as you can see, this is 3. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So for instance, we may have it in an interview question. Oh, if you don't define a variable, how do you update the value of x to be the sum of x and y? So what you could do is you could also reassign our variable x to the sum of x and y. So when I run it, we should also have 3 like how we go. So what line 4 this line is doing in this instance is taking the initial value of x which happens to be 1, and add it to the value of y, which is 2. Then 1 plus 2, we're assigning back to x. That is 3. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So that's how it works. Another way we could write the syntax is using the increment sign. So we could do x plus 1. So this could also give us the same thing, which is 3. So the increment symbol is just as a syntax that starts with equals to, then plus, then y. So, but generally, you're going to see this syntax when you have x plus equals to, let's say, 1, or x plus plus. So we're going to talk about this when we get to loops, but this is when you use increment symbol. So you could solve it in multiple ways. So you could either do something like this, or you should also do something like this. So this is the long form, this is the short form. So this is, we're starting x equals to, because they are together, it means that we're going to add x here. So there's an invisible x over here. Then we'll do x plus y. Then we'll assign it back to x, and that's going to be our number. So,
hello, Ola. Abimala.
Yeah.
Hello. Sorry to interject. Please, your voice is not clear.
It's not clear.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Thank you.
So what I said was, I hope you add to this variable side, this x and y. So if, and let's say, let's z equals to x plus y, then I can log out the result of z, which is so let me clear the console and let me run it again. So as you can see, this is 3. So I said another way we could do it, if we were asked to, how do I implement the value of x to be the sum of x and y? So one way you could do it is going to be like this. So you print out x. Now run it. So as you can see, so we're assigning the initial value of x to the sum of, so we're assigning x to the sum of the initial value of x and the sum of and y, so x plus y. So this is just this is going to be, the compiler is going to work on this first. It's going to assign the value back to this. So that's how it works. So I'll move on to the next part, which is subtraction. So I could say, let me change my value of 5. So let's say our x is 5 and our y is 2. So and we are asked to subtract. So I'll put it in a variable called z. Then I'll put y, so x minus y. So I'm going to print out z. So this is the subtraction, or this is the minus symbol. So this is what we're going to use for subtraction. As you can see, our x is going to resolve to, our z is going to be resolved to a number. Since if you are doing the mathematical operation of x and y, you're going to have a number. Since x and y is a number, so I'm going to save it and then click on run. As you can see, 5 minus 2 is going to give you 3. Okay, so that is how the minus symbol works. And similarly, like what I said last time, if they ask you to update the value of x by subtracting y from it, then you can also do that. Then you just save now run. So you're going to have 3. So as you can see, it works similarly. So what you just need to understand is that don't confuse this with this. Okay, so what this is going to first learn, then the value of this is going to be assigned to this. So in a nutshell, it is like writing let temp equals to this, then x equals to temp, and if I run it now, for example, so what it does is the compiler is going to create a temporary variable in memory. So it's going to store that temporary variable. It's a temporary variable, so it's going to store it for a short while. to assign that value back to x, and it's going to print out x. Then that's why we get the same thing, which is 2. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Moving on to the next step. So we have our multiplication. So it's going to work similarly. Okay, let x times, let z equals to x times, and I can print out.
Oh, sorry, 1 minute, Ola. Okay. Is it possible for everyone to follow what you are doing, so that they can carry on? Because sometimes it's easier that way than just listening. Because sometimes if you just listen, you are not. So if everyone can, if you're on your computer quickly, if you can follow what he's doing, that would be quick anyway. If you can give them a few minutes to kind of set it up.
Please go ahead. I think it will set up based on what we did last week. Yeah. So it's just for you to create a new folder in Visual Studio. Or let me just show you. Okay. Don't worry, I'm not using Windows. So you just create a new folder. You select the folder. So if you have created it last week, so maybe you can call it my own is lane ds. Then I created a new file using this. So and somebody can share their screen. So I can stop sharing my screen right now. And you can share your screen. So I will just go through how to create a new file. So
And also, you are also assuming that everyone has got visual code on their system, right? So let me quickly ask, who has got visual code, right, on your system? You can raise your hand, so we are quickly looking it into this anyway.
So I actually installed it twice, the first time and the second time.
So Akonla is saying that your voice is not clear. I don't know whether Akonla, can you hear? Because we can hear. I don't know why.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly, but Ola's voice is very, very low, and it's cracking as well.
I don't hear you properly as well, so I don't think yeah.
Can you stop the recording, please?
So we're going to start with arithmetic operations, and we'll start with the addition. So Ajibola, can you declare a variable x, please? So to declare a variable, you need to use the let keyword. Let, L-E-T, and space x, then assign a number of your choice. Assign a number to it. Yeah. So similarly, declare a variable y and assign a number to it. Okay. So now we're going to do the addition. So the addition is, so let's define a variable z, and let us assign this sum, the addition of 1 and 2, so which is x and y. So let's z equals x plus y, no, equals x plus y, not x equals to y, x plus y. Okay, so then you log to the console, that's console.log. Next line. We do console.log.
What's that?
The next line, on line 4, you do
click enter.
You need to print the line here, console.log. Console.log, type in console.log, console.log. Open and close brackets. Then put Z in the brackets. Then try to run your code. So there's a, don't worry too much. There's a run button, like a play button over there. Yeah. So as you can see, so that is it. So that is how we got 3. So we're going to be doing the subtraction now. So the difference between a so for the subtraction, we're going to just change the symbol of of x plus y to x minus y. So that was going to be the subtraction. So similar to what you do in mathematics. So
You have to write the code again.
now, so we could either update this or we could create. We don't need to even create a new variable. So we could delete this let. You can just assign z. Create a new line. Okay, z equals to x minus y. So then you can print the value of z. Then save and you run your. Make sure you save it. If you don't save it, it won't run, execute properly. If not saved it, look at there's like a white circle button on the index file. So if you don't save it, it's going to be there. So click on Ctrl S to save. Then that's it. So it's gone. Then you run. So as you can see, we have -1 because our x is 1 and our y is 2. And since 2 is greater than 1 with 1, so we have -1. Then so we're going to be doing the multiplication. So similarly, you can create a new line and do z equals to x times y. So the multiplication symbol is the star symbol. Then you can log z to the console. Okay, save your file. Save it and you run it. So as you can see, 2 times 1 is 2. So we're going to do this division the division side of thing, and I'll explain how the division works. So the addition, the subtraction, and the multiplication right now, it works as we expected, it works as we expect it to work. So but this division part side of thing is a little bit tricky because the way the compiler works is it separates integer division to a double division. So a double or a float is a floating point number like our decimal number. So that's a float. But in JavaScript and even C# and Java, the way it works is if we do x over y, what we're going to get is a whole number, which can be that 0, 1, 2, because it doesn't count how do I put it? It doesn't count the floating point number as part of a number. It only takes in an integer, which is a whole number. So decimal is where you have the points, maybe points 0, 1, 2, 3. But the whole number or the integer is maybe can be -1, 1 to infinity. So that is what it does. So now on line 12, can you do z equals to x /y? So that's sign for division. Then can you print out the value of x? No. Next line, don't put them together. So then print the value of z. Okay. This brought in decimal, so my bad. Oh, generally, like in Java and C#, you just get a whole number. But I think it works differently in JavaScript. Sorry about that. But the key point is, so as you can see, it works like how you do. But if we want to get the remainder on its own, then we have a new syntax, which is the modulus. So the modulus is like the percentage sign. So, and the modulus is very, very important when we need to have, maybe we want to get the remainder. Like for instance, if we're asked to print the even number or the odd number from a given range of numbers. So the modulus tell us the maybe if in our modulus, for instance, if we do x modulus y, we should be having 5. Okay, so so the 5 is the remainder. Oh, sorry, 1/2 is 0.5. So the 5 is the remainder. So I think that's what we should get. Yeah. So for the modulus, we can create a new line that's below line after line 14. So z equals to x percentage sign y. So the modulus is for percentage sign. And you click console.log. Then you save and you run your code. So 1/2 is, sorry. So can you stop sharing your screen? Yeah. And so I can share my screen. So your hands are up. Ajbola, your hands are up. Sorry, just explain the modulus. So we did one modulus. Right. So this is our x, and this is our y. So I'm just put let's write it properly. So the modulus is the remainder. So the remainder is, so if I use the long division method, so this is 1, this is 2. So if I do 0, right, sorry, 0, this is going to be, so 2 divided by 1 is 0. And so what times 2 is going to give us 2? So it doesn't really exist. So what times what is going to give us the next value? So we can start with, adding the value here, so which is 10. That's, well, compiler, what the compiler does is a little bit tricky. Before I even come over now, so as you can see, if we divide it on a normal integer scale, we're going to have 0, and the remainder is what is going to be 1. So generally, if I divide it, we have 0, right? Because 2 can't divide 1, so we have 0. Then we have points, whatever we are going to have. Then we have 1 because 1 is our remainder. So similarly, if I do 3 modulus 2, so I could do something like this. 3, 2. So 2 times 3 is going to be 4. 2 divided by 3 is going to be 1. Sorry, 3 minus 2. Then there'll be 1. So our remainder is 1. So if we do 3 modulus 2, we're going to have our remainder. So the modulus is our remainder after every. So our modulus is the remainder after every division. So if I do come in and do, maybe this is 3 now. I do it and I run it. So it's 1. But I hope this makes sense. Where I'm getting the 1 is the remainder of the division. So without it being converted to decimal. So it's just our solid whole number remainder. So, but the trick there is that odd number always have 1 as their modulus once they are divided by 5, and even number have 0 for their modulus. And this is asked, and this is commonly used in interview if you want to find a given list of odd number, or even want to print if a number is odd or even. So you just use the modulus sign. So if you do x modulus 2, and 2 is a even, and x is a even number, you're going to have 0 as a result. And if x is the odd number, you're going to have 1 as a result. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Can you share your screen now? I hope you understand what I did before we proceed. It doesn't make sense. Oh, sorry, Marvelous, please.
Yeah, you said?
Yeah, your hands are up. Marvelous, your hands are up.
Sorry. That was at the beginning of the class.
Okay, Ola, your hands are up.
It was a mistake.
Okay. I hope what I said makes sense. So modulus is the remainder, your whole number remainder. So before it can get converted to a decimal. That's just so. And if you are dividing by 2, every even number is going to have 0, because 6 divided by 2 is 3, but the remainder is 0, right? The solid whole number is 0, but we don't count 0 in mathematics since it's not really significant. But for odd number, if we do the odd number modulus 2, we're going to have 1. For instance, 5, 3. So we're going to see that we're going to see how we're going to use it when we get to the loop session. So Ajibola, can you share your screen, please? So this is the modulus sign. So the next one is going to be the exponential. So the exponential is the raised to power keyword, and is the symbol is the double star. So you could do z equals to x star star. So double star, then y. So this is going to be 1 raised to power 2. The answer for 1 raised to power 2 is 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. So every time you run it. So as you can see, the answer is 1. So I hope this makes sense. So the exponential is just raised power. And the other operation in JavaScript that we could do, well, this is what you're going to be using throughout your when you're writing code. When you're testing your code, maybe you want to do the sum of a number in a range, or you want to divide, depending, and it's mainly used during your assertion. So when you want to do your assertion, maybe you want to do confirmation of a message, or confirmation of a number. Maybe it is in, maybe an e-commerce store, and you want to get the sum of a number, or maybe for the division, maybe you want to get maybe you want to do discount code. So this is how you're going to, this is the operation you're going to be using in such scenarios. So maybe you want to add sum of number in a cart, the price of the value in a cart. So you're going to be using the mathematical operation. Like I said, there are other mathematical operation, like there's a math class in JavaScript. So as well, if you can you type in a capital letter math, M-A-T-H. The capital letter, the math is in M is in capital letter, M-A-T-H. So this class, this math class, so just click on the first one, please, is where you can do other operations, like for instance, the course, you do a full stop. So access the member. So as you can see, we have the E, we have the log, we have the pi, we have ABC, we have the arc course, arc sign. So this is where you do the core mathematical operation, but we don't need that now. So this is mainly using probably 3D design and maybe AI implementation in JavaScript, but we don't need it. Like I said, this is what we're going to be using. We're probably not going to use the exponential. So probably the addition, the subtraction, and the multiplication. Yeah, that was so. But they can ask you that, oh, what other ways can we do our addition or maybe our exponential in JavaScript? So we can also talk about the math keyword. So we can use the math keyword or the math I say keywords, the math class to do what we just did right now. And if you scroll down, you can see exp for exponential, and you see other functions. So there's math.ceil, math.floor, the log cube. So max. So the max is to get the max between two numbers. So you can see the max. So okay, click on max. So let us just use max. Open and close brackets. So it tells you, it takes in an array of number. But since we don't have an array, we can just put a comma b, so x comma y. Small letter x. Our variable name, comma y. So you can assign the value to z. So as you can see, z equals to math.max. Then we print out the value of z. Small letter z equals to, no, on line 21. Line 21. Z equals to math.max. No, before the math.max. We're saving it in z variable. Then you can print out the value of z. So to know the max between x and y. So run it. The wrong keyword is just you need to scroll up to see the wrong keyword. Just run it, run it. So as you can see, the value of the max between x is 1 and y is 2 is 2. So, and this is very, very, very useful when is this like this I just use in interview context. You're probably not going to use it. So another way, if you don't want to use this math.max, is to also like implement our own math.max, maybe using the if statement, like if x is greater than y or y is greater than x. If x is greater than y, that means the value x equals to z. Or if y is greater than x, then z equals to y. So, but this is a very clean way of doing something like that, which is the math.max. So similarly, we have math.me. So anything we did over here, we can also implement it in the math class. And there are other things we can't even implement that is also in the math class. So you can stop sharing your screen now. So move on to the next part. So this is where we stopped at.
Sorry,
So
1
now-
minute, Ola. Sorry, 1 minute. Yeah. If you can.
Next part is going to be conditional statements. So conditional statement allows us to perform different action for different conditions. So, and I could say this is mostly what you're going to be using most of the time in your automation, or this is one of the key feature in JavaScript you're going to be using most of the time. And the condition runs different code depending on the true or false condition, meaning depending on the Boolean condition. And common, or the one we have in JavaScript, is the if statement, the if else, the if else, if else. So this is like, they are all called if statements actually, but I'm just breaking it down for you. So we have the if else, the if else, if else. So sorry about that. Then we have the switch statement, we have the ternary operator. So let's look into the if statement. So if statement executes if the condition is true. So only if it is true. And the else if tests another condition if the first is false. So if the if statement is false, then we're going to jump to the else if block. And if this is also false, then we're going to execute the else statement. Okay, the else is like a catch-all keyword. So I'm going to demonstrate it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So I'm going to demonstrate it. So whether you can share your screen. So demonstrate the if statement. And so let's say if. So you can delete what we currently have now. We don't need it anymore. So you can just delete everything. So you can start in. So say if. So let's declare a variable called maybe 18. Let's call it here age, and then declare a variable called age. Age, declare a variable using the let keyword. So to declare a variable, make use of the let keyword. Let's age, like age, your age, not age, equals to, let's call it 16. So okay. So now we're going to use the if statement. So to check the condition, so we could say if age is greater than 18, if then so you don't write it that way. So the if statement is if, then you have this open circle bracket to put our condition. So this is where we're going to put our condition, the open circle bracket. Yeah. So if age is greater, so the greater keyword is just like how we have it in mathematics, is like our arrow facing towards the right. So greater than 18, then we'll say after the circle bracket, you come out of the circle bracket, you do a curly bracket, curly braces. It's very close to P. Okay, so click on enter. Click on enter. Yeah, then you can log in the age. Console.log age. You save it and run it. So as you can see, the reason why this part did not get executed is because our age is not greater than 18. So if our age was greater than 18, then we're going to print our age. So if we update 16 to 19, right, then you run it and you save it and you run it. Then you're going to see our age. So as you can see, the condition is going to be executed. So everything on line 3 downwards, like inside the curly brackets, is going to get executed as long as what the condition in our if statement is going to be true. If it's not going to be true, then we're not going to get this to be executed. So it's to ensure that a condition is met. For instance, before you can drive a car in the UK, you must be of age, which is 18 years. So now, in our condition, we say if age is greater than 18. Right. So what about people that are not greater than 18? Or what about people that are just 18? So what can we do? So that's where the next keyword is going to come into play, which is the else statement. Like I said, the else is a catch-all, meaning that even if you fail if statement, your else is going to get executed. So it's more like a backup. Okay. If I fail to get a job today, if I fail to get a maybe if I fail to pass a job today, then I'm going to continue my current job that I'm doing right now. So that's the else statement. So the else is also continue. Maybe if you not pass the required that's the boolean. If you not pass the required condition, then the else is going to get executed. So on line 4, after the curly brackets, put the else. Then open a curly bracket again and click on enter. So you can put console.log, you are young. And you are young. If you are going to be putting age, that means in double quotation. So young, the only one you put in without a double quotation is a variable. But if it is not a variable, you need to put it in double quotation like a string. Okay. So you need to put it in double quotation, the young in double quotation for it to print. Can you hear me, Ajibola? You need to wrap the young with a double quotation or a single quotation. Just click outside of it in your VS Code. Just click out, yeah. To put it in double quotation, your line 5, the young. Okay, don't worry, just run it. We're going to get the error. Delete the question mark and run it. Save it and you run it. So you're going to get the error. So you run it. So when you get here, you're going to get the error. Have you run it? Run it. Scroll down. Oh, sorry, clear your terminal. To clear it. Not going to clear. So to clear it, you see where you have code. After there's it, no, don't change anything there. There's a next icon. Click on it. You click, and then you run it again. Because our condition was met. That's why it did not bother executing this one. So if you're going to change it to 16, so it's going to be planning on executing this one, but it's going to fail because of the young variable is not declared. So change 19 to 16. Then save it and you run it. So as you can see, we had an error because it is not defined and you decide to run the code that is done. So once you do know, so young is not defined, as you can see in the reference error. So we'll talk about error later on. So we can talk about how we deal with error later on. But we've not defined our young variable and you're printing it out. So because it is interpreted, it's going line by line. That is why. But as it was compiled like C# where you have to build before you run, the compiler is going to get this error. As you can see, the beauty of compiler. But this makes use of an interpreter. So the young, you're going to wrap it in double quotation. Because you've not defined, you're going to put it inside the circle brackets where you have the young. Where you have the young, you start from the Y, where you have the Y. where you have the Y, put a double quotation there. Then at the end of the G, you also put the double quotation again to close it. Can you hear me? Okay, then you run, save and you run it. As you can see, it has pointed out to young. Like I said, if it was a compiled language, we would have catch the error very early. As you can see, our age is not greater than 16. So I'm not going to run the first code, which is to print out the age. We're going to run the second block of code, which is to print out young. Now, let's talk about the else if statement. So we could say the if statement is used, like I said, if a condition want a condition to be met. Once a condition is met, you want to run a block of code. So for instance, our line 3 is a block of code that you want to run. So the else if is like an extension of the if statement. It's like, okay, if you did not pass, or if you are not of age, let us check if you meet the other condition. All right. So maybe you want to say someone is maybe a grade. Okay, you scored 50, let's say someone scored 70 or someone scored 60. Let's use 60. So we could say, oh, if the score is greater than 70 or 75, we could say, oh, that is an A. If it is between, else if the score is between 60 and 70 or less than 70, then that is, we're going to print something else. Maybe you're going to print good, then like that. So the else if is like, if is used when you don't meet the first condition, which is our if statement. So if you don't meet the if statement and you feel that, oh, there's something else that you can do for the user, or there's something else you want to do if the next condition is met, that is when you have the else if keyword. And you can have multiple else if, sorry, I say also if else statement I meant. So you can have multiple if else statements. So to write the if else statement, so can you delete what you currently have on line 14? I said sorry, not line 4 to line 6 for now. So we can say else, sorry, if else, if, what am I saying? Sorry, not if else if I meant else if, open and close brackets, similar to what we have on line 2. We say age equals to 18. So, and the equals to we use is not equals to. No, now this is it. What I'm going to explain now. So the first, this one you currently have on line 4. The equals to means you are assigned a variable. So for comparison, which is we are going to use the double equals to compare values. So you update the single equals to that we have online before the 18. You're going to change it to double equals to. So this is for comparison. Double equals to, no, not plus, equals to. So this is for comparison. Then, but in JavaScript, it is recommended for us to use 3 equals to. So you have to put on that one. But in programming language like Java, C#, the 2 is fine and does it work well. So after the if, else if age is equals to 18, so that is how we treat. It's not, you will not say triple equals to. So you're gonna read if, else if age is equals to 18, then you would put a curly bracket. So the curly bracket is similar to what you did here. Click on enter, then you can print out. You are just an adult.
What am I on? What am I printing
Anything
off?
you feel you can put for the age of 18. but don't print age. So we're going to have the same mistake you did, which is you didn't put it in double quotation. So you need to put it in double quotation. Anytime you want to print a value that is not a variable, you need to put it in double or single quotation. Okay, when it comes to JavaScript. But other languages you can use double quotation, or other languages apart from Python, you're going to be using double quotation. So that's why I recommend people to use double quotation. Okay, so then the next one is going to be the else keyword. So on line 6, you're going to put the else keyword. Line 6, you're going to put the else keyword. So else, what do you want to do if the person is not 18, is not greater than 18? So what do you want to do? So you put it in curly brackets. So you can print anything you like.
What should I print?
Anything you like. Like maybe you are young. Okay, so you make sure you save it and you run it. Then run it. Oh, you run it already. You can clean your console before you run it. You run it. So you can see it is young because the first condition on line 2 is our age greater than 18? So age is not greater than 18. So we're not going to execute the code we have on line 3, right? Similarly, is our age equals to 18? No. So we won't execute the block of code on line 5. And lastly, like I said, this is a catch-all statement. So is our age, since our age is not greater than 18 and is not equals to 18, then we're just going to execute the else statement as like, okay, you know what? Just do this one so you are young. Maybe someone wants to buy a drink and they ask for your ID and they say, oh, are you greater than 18? Oh, yeah. Okay, yes, that's fine. You can drink. Are you 18? Oh, okay, you can. Okay, yes, you can probably just drink now. Then the last one is, oh, sorry, you are still a young person. You cannot, you don't have, according to the law, you can't drink. So that is how it works. So let us change the age to 18 on line 1. Can you update 16 to 18? Save it. Run it. Run it. Click on the run button. You will click on the run button. So as you can see, since the age was equals to 18, so we're going to execute the line of code, which is the output. So, but what we could do again is we could say, oh, since this person is of age, so we could decide to just group them together. So we could use the logical and let us even bother with the logical and. So we could use something called age is equals to 18. If age is equals to or greater than 18, so you put greater than or equals to, so online line 2, put greater than and equals to 18. Then we can remove the else if block from line 4 to line 6. That's the else if block. And don't delete the else, that's the else if. delete the if statement also. So delete the if statement on line 4, delete the whole line on line 5. Delete the curly brackets on line 5, the opening one on line 5. The switching else state s, typing else. Save it. Run it. So as you can see, it has printed out 18, which is, so this is to join two operations together. So another way we could join two operations is probably the logical AND. So there's something called the logical and the logical OR. Maybe we could say the working class in the UK is probably 18 to 65. I don't know, 60. So we could use the logical OR to print the working age. So for that, let's see how we're going to use the logical OR. Sorry, logical AND. So we could say if age, so on line, no, you don't create a new line. We're going to update what we have on line 2. So if age is greater than or equals to 18, then after the 18, you put a space. Yeah, then you put the AND keyboard, the short form for AND, on that's 7. Yeah, double AND. So this is the ampersand sign or whatever they call it. So this is the logical AND. Then you space age is less than or equals to 65. So the less than is the no, you can't write is less than is the arrow button, just like how we have greater than and equals to 65 or equals to 65. Then we're going to print out our age. So else we're going to print out young. So if we update our age to 65 now, if we update it to 65, we're going to, and you save it, you're going to see your age. However, if we change it to 66, right, you're going to see young. So if you update what we currently have on 65 to 66, you're going to see young. So as you can see, we want to say, on line 3, maybe we want to change to working class, and on line 5 we'll say, not working. So maybe that's what we want. So depending on the requirements, that's what we're going to execute. But as you can see, this is the logical AND, meaning that our age should be in the range of 18 and 65. So age is greater than or equals to 18, and age is less than or equals to 65, meaning our age should be in this range between 18 and 65. So from 18, 19, 20 up to 65 on the dot. So that is how the logical AND. So another one we get is the logical OR. So the logical OR is just a fancy word for saying OR. If the condition on the first condition is not met, then we should execute the second condition. So let us change it to logical OR. So to change it, we could update what we currently have on. So we could say if age equals 18, so 3 equals sign 18, or so the or is the line, I think is this is the straight line on your keyboard. I'm not using a mark. Using a mark, I mean, I'll show you. I think it is shift, and there's a key beside the shift in your left hand side of your keyboard. Yeah, double. Another one. So if you save it now, is going to work. So this read if age equals to 18 or age is less than and equals to 65. So as you can see, because our age is not 18 and our age is not less than 65, it's going to print out young. But if we update our age to be 15, right, we're going to see that we're going to print out age, which is going to be 15. So can you change the age to 15? So then if you save it and you run it, so as you can see, we have 15 because the or keyword is like, even if the first part is not true, and the second part is true, then we're going to execute the statement. But for the and, that is a double ampersand sign. If age is equal to 18 and age is also less than 65, that is when it's going to print. So you use the and for if you want both sides to be true. So for instance, now if you want to maybe open an account, so the first one is maybe if you are eligible to stay in the UK, and if you're above 18, that is when maybe you can have a account. So, or for driving license, to drive in the UK, maybe if you have your driving license and you have your car, so that is when you can drive in the UK. Or we could say if you are above 18 and you've passed your test, that is when you can drive. So that is when you use the and keyword. But for the or, it means that just one is to be true for it to be executed. So we could say if if you are above 18, right, or you are I don't know, maybe, or you are maybe above 19 or above 21, then you can then you're eligible for the 18 to 25 or the 18 to 21 rail card or something like that. So all is just one statement need to be true. So the two statements don't need to be true for all, but for and, both statements needs to be true. And our else keyword, irrespective of maybe we have it in the else if or the if block, the else is just going to be a catch-all where we have everything that did not meet our condition. Maybe the if statement, the else if statement is going to be executed in the else statement. So it's almost 11. So I think this is what we can do up to. So we have a lot to cover. So yeah, you can stop the recording, please, because this is almost 11. Just